Most of you know, today's demo is about the Go programming and uh, how do we start and what actually the benefits that you get from getting a training on the Go language. So basically, you would have known there are a lot of, uh, if you type in Google, there are a lot of programming languages, C, C++, Java, Ruby, Scala, Python, Go. But what different is Go made so popular such that it became one of the top programming languages in 2020. So the reason behind that Go made such a huge popular is this is the most reliable product that was developed by Google, and it's not that one day that they developed it, and but usually if you see most of our Google search, whatever you search on your Google platform, the backend, the search patterns, or most of the heavy lifting jobs of the Google search pattern engine was developed by Go. So it's not a Go is not a new. It's a almost a 15-20 years back, which was keep on developing by Go language, Google's engineers. But at some point of time, they made it as a open source. As you know, as per industry standards, most of them will become once on a once agreement or once in a lifetime, they have to move into a open source, like how the Java, Scala, those all are developed in a lab or in a company, but eventually they will come back, they will put it in an open market. So now as a process, they made it an open source in around 2008. But the mostly if you see the Go language, uh, it inherited the features from the C++, and the networking, the capabilities all from the Java. It's a kind of a mix of all these languages. Basically, you can say Go language has inherited from the most of the properties from the C language. So the one more the best thing is, like, say you have a limited programming knowledge, you are a college graduate, but if you see the Python, it has Python, Java, it has its own syntax, its own uh, features, and you need to learn them, and you cannot kickstart immediately and that easy. But the beauty of Go is such a way that, as you know, most of the C is our basic C language learning. A basic is in our curriculum in whatever the degree that related to computers. C is must. So basically, most of the students will know the syntax and semantics of the C language. So Go is such a way that if you know the C language, learning Go is very simple, and almost if you know already C language, then 80% of the Go is done. Just that you need to effectively use the Go language into a wider knowledge. So that's how, if you want to start something new and kickstart immediately and jump into a programming career and start your technical skills, put into some kind of application oriented, I suggest to go for a Go. There is no other language that has such a easy readable language. And if you type anything on the Go, there are a lot of material that available, and you there is a even Go provides a lot of forums to learn. And it's not that you learn, it's beyond the stage of learning. As I said, you can immediately run your code, since like in C++, we use this package import function main, like hello C. So the simple things that makes you to you start your work immediately in the Go. And the next thing, the first thing is the simplicity that I learned it, and the next thing, how to implement, what is the benefit that I get if I learn a Go language. The best benefit of the getting a Go language is, like, if you see whatever the API that a microservice architecture that being developed in the past 10 years, Go is must. Almost most of the I have been in the industry for first 14 years. I have seen the APIs were being a monolithical architecture to microservice architecture. So no, nowhere there is a word of monolithical architecture and single server and the people rely on. Everything is a cloud based and everything is a distributed architecture, and everyone was eager to get the results in seconds. Now there's the age was gone. Like I click a page and it will load after 5 minutes. No one was waiting for that. So everyone need a quicker solution, and everyone was relied on a robustic language in order to develop such a huge complex things. Your tools should also be a simpler one, right? So similar way, with the Go, it is conquering almost. If you see the day by day, the market share of Go language is increasing drastically. And whatever the companies that you see, they adopt Go. Why? Because you see there in market, if you see there are 200 to 300 plus programming languages that you can work on anything, but there should be someone should be backend. A reliable company should be backend and should be developed by some reliable people. So that's how this Google, as it was a product of Google, that's also uh, uh, paved a way for other companies to opt for Go. And uh, and if you see the easy part, as I said, it came from the C language. So that's how. And mostly, if you see, if when you are a programmer, initially we will see this polymorphism, inheritance, the classes, objects. Whenever we go from the C to transition from C language, C++ to Java, there will be always confusion of these classes, how to use classes, and how to import one class from other. But there is and this always this oops oriented concept, like object oriented programming structures will always be confusing. But in Go language, if you see, there is nothing related to the classes. There is no concept of classes here. That's so simple, right? If there is no classes and no inheritance, and the programming code looks so simple that it mostly you should know the two things. See, you can write a for loop. See, if I want to write some for loop, I can write it any language, right? You can write in a C. If I want to write a basically for loop, I can write this in C, C++, Java, Python, Scala, any language of my kind. But why till now the people will prefer to write the syntax in C? Why? Because that is easy to adapt, and also there is no headache of classes, polymorphisms, and all. So that if you know the pointers, and if you know the basic, and you no need to do about memory management, like how do I access my CPU RAM, how do I divide my uh, um, what you call in memory management. That stuff all will be taken, headache will be taken at Go. Just that you, if you know basically the pointers, and if you know basic structures of the packages and functions, mostly you see the C language will have functions. So since this is known by everyone, so that's why it's become so popular. And the next thing that makes Go language uh, to start, and next thing, let me tell you, uh, why should I use I see like most buzzwords people will see Scala and Databricks. See, if you, even though if you use Databricks, Scala, all, but whenever you come into hosting them into a network. So if you learn a Go language, the advantage of moving into multiple, if you see this, if you learn some Scala or Python, usually if you see basically data scientists like algorithm building, all these will, there are two kinds of pathways that you can start. Like if I want to move into some kind of a data scientist roles and creating some algorithms, creating some embedded system log related stuff, You can Go or Python, Scala, which makes your a long term to learn and very complex to think. But no, I want to start immediately my career and jump into some very good programming language which has a broader application database. Then I prefer to go for the Go language. If you see, if you are a Go language developer, you can move into a multiple roles. Like you can be a DevOps engineer. So how the Go as a link with the DevOps? See, if every application nowadays they made DevOps as a horizontal to their application, like Grafana dashboards, uh, developing the CI/CD pipelines, and creating the basic scripts where your Jenkins pipelines will run them. All those scripts and creating the Prometheus dashboards. These all need some programming language. So if you adopt, say, suppose if your core application development API, as I said, API is for sure. Most of the 80% of the market was captured by Go. If you see the 80% of the market that someone developed the microservices is Go. If you learn Go, you can go into the application development APIs, or else you can go into the and there is a very good what you call a very good plugins available within the Go for a web application as well. And most of the backend infrastructure. If you see, the companies Microsoft, Google, Uber, everything, the main backend infrastructure that was maintained and like Terraform. Most of the backend things were maintained by Go. You have a chance to go there, and as I said, microservices, and even I see the company started using the ETL, traditional extract, transfer, loading, ETL kind of stuff using Go. And all this, uh, apart from this whatever the tools, you see the Google has its cloud platform on GCP. This is GCP, Google Cloud Platform, and like AWS, Azure. These are the different cloud platforms developed by different companies, like AWS by Amazon, Azure by Microsoft, and GCP by Google. If you see GCP, from past 3 to 4 years, most of the market was the cloud market was captured by GCP, and it was increasing exponentially. Like now, if you see the industry leader AWS is in the first, Azure was in second, and to the surprise, GCP was about to overtake Azure in next couple of years. Why I am stressing more on the GCP? Since it was the backend, everything was written in Go, and yes, they allow you to work on anything, but their native language, the native products that Google, most of them they develop will use Go. So somewhere this makes interlinked and make your life easier. So going into the, I don't want to go into the much into the cloud concepts, but you have a potential to look into the go deeper into the Google cloud platforms, like provisioning the clusters and automating your cluster allocation. Too many things that you can use the Go as a scripting language to work on. So the overall picture here is a technology that was developed by a larger tech company. Already they were using it and they released it into market. So so now the two things were important. So easy to learn. Usually, whoever the college graduates or someone who want to learn the programming language, the first thing they like is to easy to learn, easy to implement, wider job opportunities. If you see the Go, this makes you so popular to pick your most favorite programming languages to pick. So this is the overall story of why Go, why do you want to learn it, and how opportunities that you get it. And if I say really uh, to jump into job, what job opportunities uh, that you get, but on an average, if you see, if you are a traditional Java developer or a JavaScript or Angular JS or Node JS, those you may earn hardly 100 80 to 100K. But whereas if you see the Go language, the initial market uh, was around the starting, the pay starts with 120K. So the more you get into the Go, the more you have a very good opportunities and also very good pay. So that's also one of the most attractive feature that people mostly adapt for Go. And it's not that I was saying it. If you look into if you search and see the market structure analysis, that's what it says. And yeah, this is a basic like uh, mostly like all these loops, conditional statements, this all comes with any programming language. But when you start working it, uh, that makes you life easier. And you will, once you start coding it, you see how simple it is to learn a programming. So yeah, as part of training, we'll be covering all this. So if you brush up your knowledge on all these things, and with a very good industry oriented project, a kind of a mini project kind of thing, there is no doubt that you can excel anywhere. And these are the like uh, coroutines and concurrency. These are the main part. Like I can say, this is the bread and butter of Go language, where you see these channels, Go routines, and concurrency. Most of the applications will work on these three things. So yeah, so this is all about the story of Go and what's the benefit.